The EJSD is proud to present a short story by author T.S. Dickson. Sit back and enjoy the reading by our British accent AI voice. Check out the EJSD on Substack. We publish fiction short stories and occasional news items, all delivered to your email inbox, or viewable via the Substack app. The Substack app is now available for download both on the Apple's App Store and Google Play. Dear Mom, the sergeant says we have until the second bell to prepare, so I am finally writing the letter I promised you. They have not touched the tight beam transmission, so it will get out okay. I hope you and Dad are okay. How is Dad? How is Arthur and Sparky? Look, I know it was hard for the two of you when I decided to enlist. What has the Earth ever done for us? Dad said. Mom, I know how you grew up with Grammy and Gramps' hatred of old Earth. I remember their stories about the pollution and the political problems and how bad it was in the cargo hold on the long trip. It must be hard for you to understand why I am here, Mom, but I never learned to hate the Earth. The government that sent them away is long gone as well. Dad was too young to remember anything, and you were not even born yet when the ships left for Rome. I don't think I can describe it, Mom. The feelings I had when I stepped off the transport. The sky is blue here, not like inside the domes, but a deep blue that goes on forever, and it smells so different. And the sun. How do I describe it? It is big and golden and warm. There is something, maybe it is ancestral memories, maybe it is just in the DNA, but every cell in my body screams this is home. We all felt it as we stumbled out onto the landing pad. It is why we all joined up. We just couldn't bear to have the home we had never seen disappear without a fight. Did you know the weeks are 7 days here just like on Rome? I guess the things that surprise me the most are the things that are the same. I still have trouble getting used to the big moon up in the sky at the night. I keep thinking Romulus has spun out of orbit and is crashing. I could talk a lot about basic. It was grueling like we expected. We were all kept together as a group initially, divided up by the various home worlds for the first 4 weeks. That was mostly all for physical conditioning to get us used to the higher gravity and shorter days here, and some technical training and language stuff so we could understand each other. At the end of this cycle, we all took this big test. It was a 3-day affair, and it covered everything. A full physical and mental health and fitness evaluation, aptitude scores on about 100 different subjects. Tests for motion sickness, marksmanship, endurance, allergies, and DNA records. I can't remember everything it covered, we moved so fast from room to room. Once the test results were in, they broke us up for further training based on the needs of the military and on our personal abilities. Remember Mike Johnson? He was the quarterback on the Tigers. Dad might remember him for the winning play he made my senior year. He was a big guy, and a bit of a loner even though he was always into the team sports. Dad once said he looked like a boy who would go far, and he doesn't know how right he was. Mikey got assigned to the Furies squadrons out around Pluto orbit. I know there are 2 more planets farther out than that, but tradition still sets the borders of Sol system with Pluto, and that was where the first line was drawn. Furies are basically a big fusion engine with a small 2-man capsule on the front. They are the only things fast enough to meet the invaders out that far. It looks like they are unarmed, but that fusion engine makes a hell of a blowtorch. The trick, Mikey said, was to accelerate very fast, as hard as the crew could stand it, and then turn tail towards the enemy and just burn it to hell while decelerating towards it. He said you could also go for the KK, which either stand for kinetic kill, or for kamikaze depending on who you ask. It is officially against the rules to do a suicide attack, but in training they did go into a lot of detail about how much kinetic energy a Fury at such and such relative velocity can generate. A lot of people say the Furies are unsafe, that they have too little shielding to keep the crew from getting radiation poisoning. Mikey said that was to keep the acceleration high and that it didn't really matter about the radiation. I guess he was right about that part. Of the 600 Furies that left Luna, the reports say only 8 survived for fleet pickup. That doesn't count the ones that couldn't turn around and are lost in deep space now. I don't know if Mikey was one of them that made it back, But the way he kept talking about the KK, I doubt it. I don't know if Mikey got a chance to write before he left. Would it be inappropriate for you to pass on to Mr. and Mrs. Johnson that Mikey probably isn't coming home? Do you remember Susan? How could you forget her? Her long flowing golden hair, her constant smiles. She was on the gymnastics team when I was in 6th grade but had to drop it when her parents said it was unladylike. Oh, she was the little girl who brought me that big empty box for my 3rd birthday and said it was a lifetime supply of dance shoes for me. Yay, I knew you would remember her. She looked so funny last time I saw her. She ended up in the Marines as a medic, so her golden head of hair was now a shaved skull. You can't have long hair in zero gravity, it would clog up everything and get in the way. Her father would have had a heart attack if he had seen his little lady like that, all muscles and jumpsuit. She was assigned to 3rd Squad on the Hercules, the first of the Hercules-class battleships. I saw the photos she had. A big ugly thing, like an armored cigar, all engines, and a big laser down the spine. Now, I'll admit I don't know a lot about ship combat, but I have never actually heard of Marines doing much more than arrest drunken sailors on shore leave, and a medic is doubly useless because who gets hurt in space combat? You either get through without a scratch, or the whole ship vaporizes, nothing enough left to bury. Well, for some reason the command thinks they can have boarding actions, maybe find out about the invaders or something, so all the big ships in the Golden Fleet have Marines and medics. The Hercules was lost with all hands on the Red Line when the Navy made its stand in the outer system. I hear it was in trying to keep one of those Class 6s from refueling. Did you know the invaders scoop hydrogen from gas giants? Sometimes they capture comets as well. Well, the Hercules didn't even get to fire off a single shot. I hear something about a cooling system that wasn't maintained right, so the laser exploded when they tried to fire it. Tom and Jack, I know you remember, since they were over so much. Tom was on Mars when they started dropping rocks on it. Jack was there as well, but he sent me an email from the recovery ship. Mars has enough of an atmosphere now that his lungs mostly survived when his suit ruptured. Aaron and Michelle are both in the Air Defense Group. They are on these big, armored satellites they call monitors. These things carry tons of missiles, since they are easy to resupply from the ground, unlike a Navy ship that really has to depend on energy weapons and use any extra weight available for fuel. Oh, they just announced the New York exploded. I guess that means Michelle is gone now. Hope she's in a better place now. Hey, I have got to finish this up. It is almost second bell and the first of those ugly spheres are now in Earth's orbit. They haven't started dropping rocks on us like on Mars, but they are releasing a bunch of smaller shuttles or something. Looks like I will be in this fight after all. Oh, I forgot to tell you what I do. Well, I traded in my wheelchair for a walker exoskeleton during most of training, and now I look like I should be saying fee-fi-fo-foom as I march about. All those years being a cripple and now I can bend steel with my hands. Oh, Johnny is around here as well. He is in the electronics warfare group, so his blindness isn't a problem. They put a jack in his head and now he can see a lot better than you or I. Okay, I've got to go, Mom. You might get the news reports before you get this letter. Please tell Dad I love him. I miss you both. Please try to understand I had to do this. Now, win or lose, I will have done my best. That is what you both taught me, remember? Oh, tell Artie he can have my book collection if I don't come back, and please take care of Sparky for me. Love you, Mom. Wish us all luck. Your son, David. Thank you for listening to the EJSD. This has been a presentation by the Joseph Street Digest, an imprint of AEM Services. All copyrights are owned by their respective owners. Please like, share, and subscribe.